Welcome to Zoned In Podcast. My name is Faheem.
My name is Nelly J. Get zoned in.
Zoned In.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. This is episode 3 of season 2, and we have some amazing guests in the Zone podcast today. First up, he's not a stranger to the Zoned In family. He's been on the show before, and very smart. We call him Mr. Stats Guy, Mr. Numbers. His memory is kind of absurd. Jay's in the building. What up, Jay?
Yo, what's up?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
How
Living the
are
bubble
things
life.
going? Pardon me?
Living that bubble life.
Living that bubble life. We all are. We all are. And our second guest, my brother from another mother, Mr. Milan, in the building.
What's going on, everybody?
Please check them out. We got their handles. It's at Mr. Ward 83 from Milan, and Jeremy is at JMac54CA. Alrighty. So I kind of want to make sure our viewers get to know you both a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you guys a question. It might be hard to answer, but just pick one team. Who is your favorite team ever in any sport, any league? What's one team that you ride for, die for in any sport? Number one team. So I will go to Jeremy first, because I can guess your team, but I want to see what you're going to say today. I knew it.
Say it for the viewers, my friend.
The Atlanta Hawks.
Okay, and why? What's about the Atlanta Hawks? Like, was it when you were younger? What made you become a Hawks fan? Because it's very rare to see a Hawks fan.
Yeah, well, in Toronto it is, yeah.
No, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Anywhere outside of Atlanta, it is.
Yeah, very funny. First team I ever watched.
Oh, that's it. So
that's it.
So
I like their jerseys, the old ones with the hawk going across. And I was like, oh, this is my team. And this is like 1998, so. Yeah.
Love at first sight.
Tough.
Okay. And was it a player that you liked on that team? Like, why the Hawks?
Well, they had Steve Smith and Dikembe back then. I think, yeah.
Okay.
It was more of the jerseys, and I was young and I didn't really play basketball, but I was like, oh, okay, that's my team.
Interesting. And so in 2020, this year, you're still a Hawks fan, like strong, avid, till you die.
Yeah, I'm not a bandwagon Raptor fan.
Yeah. Welcome. Hey, we take all bandwagoners, okay? Right from here? We accept you all. Milan, what is your favorite team? I see jersey behind you, but I'm not sure that's your favorite team ever.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. The reason why I've been a fan is just because when I started understanding football is my favorite sport. They were the team. They were the glamour team. So the Troy Aikman, the Emmitt Smith, and the Michael Irvin, they were the team to watch. You get to watch every game every Sunday, so it's hard to miss. And then when they got Dion, it was a wrap.
Oh, right. Yeah. All right.
Awesome. Okay.
Just so everybody knows, you can see the jersey I'm wearing. So me and
I saw that. We got NFC East in the building. We got the Hawks. We got Dallas. Sorry, Eagles. We got Dallas Cowboys. We got the Washington team now?
The Washington football team.
Football team.
Listen, as long as they get rid of that horrible name, we'll deal with it this year.
They need to get rid of that horrible team, let alone the name.
You will not. Bad. Okay, what? I'm gonna give it to Faheem because he got the mic now. He'll get us into that.
Oh no, in regards to, let's go to Brady. Do you think Brady's gonna get another ring?
It's possible. But it's going to be difficult. Like, Brady's not the Brady from 10 years ago. He's an older man. Like, the football IQ is never going to be questioned. It's never going to be something that you have to worry about. But the physicality of the game, the scheme of the game is different. The offense they used to run in New England is completely different than what they're going to be running in Tampa Bay. In New England, they used to run the offense. It used to be from the inside out. That's why Gronk would do so well. That's why Edelman and who was the guy before Edelman? Welker. That's why those guys did. That's why those guys did so well. Now you had Randy for a couple of years, and that's when Tom was younger. He was able to get the ball out there, but his arm's not the same. Those deep throws, and that's what Bruce Arian offense is predicated on, taking the shots down the field. So it's going to be interesting to see how they mix everything so you can use Tom Brady's attributes as well as what you have around him, because he's got a squad around him. He has weapons. So it should be interesting to see. Like, it will be interesting to see. That's all I'll say.
So you're zoned in with that. Is there anything that you're zoned out about the fact that he left New England?
No, like, we wish that players can stay with one team for their entire career, but sometimes, like, football is a young man's game. Like, you need to be able to reload as quickly as possible. And it's like, how much long, like, what is Tom really going to do for New England? Like, nothing more, not much more. Because once, like, if they rocked it until the wheels fell off and didn't pick up anyone, you're going to go from being one of the greatest franchises ever to like to being non-existent, because you didn't have a plan. There's a lot of teams that were dynasties or competitive every year. They didn't have a plan and they fell off the face of the earth, and nobody's talking about them anymore.
Facts.
So
Question for you about Brady. Do you think he left because he wanted more money? Because I know Brady kind of didn't get paid a lot before, because he wanted to obviously win rings. But now that he's older, I feel like now he's like, you know what? I want that money. I want that check. Because I felt like he was getting paid underpaid before.
Well, here's the thing. With football, like, there's contract money, and then there's money outside of football. If you look at Bob Kraft, I'm pretty sure he took care of Tom Brady outside of football. Got him in contact with a lot of people that pretty much made up the money that he could have probably been making on the roster, like on the back end. So it's like, did he really want more money? No, because he knew he was gonna get, like, Kraft was gonna take care of him. So I don't think he left because of the money. Maybe. I mean, if you have an opportunity to go get money and you want to change the scenery, why not? I think it was more or less because of the relationship with him and Bill Belichick, because he knew Bill Belichick was trying to get rid of him years ago. Like,
really? I did not know that.
Yeah, they've been trying to get rid. They tried because they wanted to keep Garoppolo and let him take over, but Kraft was like, no, Tom's our guy.
Oh.
All right. So Jay, are you zoned in or zoned out with Brady's chances?
Yeah, I think the Buccaneers are an absolute lock for the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Absolute lock. They have way too many.
Like lock and key.
Like they're going to beat my Eagles in the playoffs if they meet, for sure. The weapons he has this year, maybe the only other year he's ever had the same amount of weapons is when he had Randy, and they went 16-0 and then lost in the Super Bowl. He's got, and the whole Bruce Arians offense. Okay, I could see it's going to be, their playbook is going to be half Bruce Arians, half of whatever Tom Brady says. It's going to be a mixture, and I mean, running back is a bit shaky there, but
that's my issue with
running back by committee.
Situation.
But the NFL is always running back by committee.
Exactly.
You can find any guy. They just signed Shady McCoy. Like, he can.
Yep. He's still serviceable.
700-800 yards for
easily. Absolutely.
But he's got Godwin on the one side. He's got Mike Evans on the other. He's got Gronkowski in the middle, and then he's got, I think, OJ Howard. OJ Howard in the middle. I mean, how can you possibly stop a team like that?
It just comes down to continuity. That's the only thing. Like, they haven't played together.
Yeah, but that's all he needs is once he gets that. I mean,
but you still have the Saints out there, and the Saints aren't getting worse.
I call them the Aints. They haven't done much.
So question, like, I feel so. I've been zoned in on Gronk, not really Tom, but more Gronk. This guy retired. Like, Gronk said deuces, left, and he came back just because Tom left. Like, I wonder if Gronk left or retired early because there was more drama at the Pats. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, first of all, who retires like that in their prime? Like, I think, like, in their prime, no one can stop Gronk. Nobody could. Like, this guy was a guaranteed catch, right? But
Sanders.
Pardon me?
Barry Sanders.
Yes.
Calvin Johnson.
No, but I mean like Gronk, like in his like when he retired. I'm saying like he was in his prime,
Yeah,
right?
but not to cut you off,
Got no
Nelly,
problem.
but Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson were on pretty shitty teams. They weren't winning anything. So
Yeah,
but
exactly.
they were in
so
the
there's a
prime of their
huge
career.
difference.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They were both
Yeah,
30 years old, and they could have made so much money on their last contract, and they just bounced.
Yeah,
But
well, Detroit, sorry.
remember, like I think with injuries too, like they had really bad injuries as well. Like it wasn't just the money. Like they were like they could die. So it's like I'm not gonna play for football to die in the field. No, but no, like so back to Gronk. I felt like Gronk probably left Patriots now because he didn't like Bill or something happened, drama. And then when Tom left, because you know what, Tom's a different team now. Bill like, you know what, just go with Tom. And I cannot wait. Like, is Tampa Bay playing Patriots this year? Because I want like that game. I'm
I
watching.
don't know.
Let's see if there's even a season first.
Yeah.
Just gonna
True.
say, see if
True. But all I'm saying is that I can't wait to watch Bill Belichick like coaching against Tom and Gronk. That's gonna be amazing to see.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I think if it happens this year or next year, whenever COVID decides to like say do to us in our sports, I think that's going to be a phenomenal game because Tom knows Bill. Bill knows Tom, right? It's going to be interesting. So I'm zoned in on Gronk. Will Tom win the ring? I think Tom can win a ring. From what I've seen on tapes and from the coaching staff and what they've been saying, they're saying Tom is looking like a young boy, looking like a young man still, right?
He looks rejuvenated, man. He
Yeah,
does
like,
look rejuvenated.
And you know, Tom is really the reason why he's so good is because of his mental health. Like,
absolutely,
no other quarterback has his mentality. That's why he's so great. Different quarterback like Eli was a great quarterback skill set. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the list goes on, but they didn't have this, and that's why Tom is so like special, right? And why he's the GOAT. I mean, I used to hate on Tom for a long time because I was a Colts fan, but then I'm like, you know what, I can't anymore. Like Salt Bay, like just drop the rings because you have 6 now, so I can't even hit on you anymore. So I'm zoned in on just seeing Bill Belichick against Tom. That's the game I have to watch.
I'm zoned in on Tom Brady getting another ring. So during the COVID, you heard about how he had his teammates and they're doing practices or just getting some reps in. He's committed and he feels like he has something to prove, right?
Exactly.
So when you have someone who's been through what he's been through in a situation like this where he knows the pressure is there, it's about how he can handle it under pressure, and he's proven under pressure. So I'm with the floor with everyone. I'm really zoned out on the fact that I don't think there's going to be a season. I really
not this year. Well, you know what? Remember, it's money, right? These guys, it's all about the money, and it's an owners league. So the owners want to push through because they will lose a lot of money on broadcasting, advertisement,
concessions. They're already losing money on concessions.
Yes. And question, guys, where can they play?
The way they have it set up, it's just I just don't think their league is conducive to playing in this sort of scenario. You look at the NBA and what they've done. Perfect example of how to achieve something during a pandemic. The NFL, the league itself, but just by sheer numbers, like you look at the amount of people that are on sidelines. Excuse me, you have like a 52 man active roster game day,
right.
And then you have like the 20 other guys that are on practice squad. You know what I mean? Like then you have all the 9 million coaches. Like how are you going to be able to put all that in a bubble? It's not going to work that way. You know what I mean?
How about an island? How about they go to like, I don't know.
Fight
Island.
UFC did and have
go to Dubai.
But you know what? I think the issue is the field quality, right? Because think about it. After one game of these like 200-pound men running up and down, tackling, that feels done for at least a whole week or 2 weeks, right? That's why in NFL, like the games are spread out where the home games are always kind of like every 7 to like 14 days, right? That's why I was saying, like, I feel like what field can handle that? And maybe they have to invent a new turf. Like, are they going to hire some scientists to figure out how to maintain a field after a game the next day? Like, it's a lot because in NBA, you said, right? They'll play multiple games on the same court all day. In the NFL, you can't do that. You can't play multiple games on the same field every day.
Unless you go back to AstroTurf.
Yeah.
That'd be the only way you'd be able to do that. But then you're putting guys' lives at risk because you're playing on like something that's harder than like cement. Like it's crazy.
Yes. So that's the thing. And like you saw, quite a few NFL players aren't coming back. Like they're saying that they feel the NFL hasn't done a good job of outlining the COVID precautions. Some guys have the kids that have health issues, and it's like, it's not worth it for them to play. And I get it. Like, if you having people in your family that live with you or that are around you and they have health complications, like, look at the MLB. Like, let's be real here. Will the NFL really, like, I'm zoned out of the season this year. I'm hoping that they can actually be patient enough. I know business-wise, it sucks for them because they lose a lot of money, but like, these players will get injured. All of them will get injured, and the next year there'll be no league. So like, do we want to just kind of postpone it and then make money next year, or do we want to like risk injuries to all our players and then what happens next year? Like, the long-term goal, I think it makes no sense for them to start this year. So I'm zoned out of that season. Like, just don't.
I think they're gonna just try a thing and see if they can get something, get a little something. Like, I think if they start, they're not finishing. They'll play like, they'll get to like mid-October, and then they have to shut the whole thing down. Because I'm pretty sure, because like, again, like, you're not, each player, the way it's set up right now, each player gets to go home. You get to travel state to state. You don't, you're not really, it's like almost like an honor system where it's just like, you just have to handle your business. You go to work and then you come home, and hopefully you don't come in contact with anyone that might have it. And I'm like, you're putting people at risk. The reason why the NBA is working is because they're keeping them away from the general public,
especially in Florida.
Oh my God,
Florida's a hot mess.
Let's not talk about
Jay,
Florida.
You zoned in or zoned out with the players opting out?
The players opting out of playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to them. Why not? If they want to play, they play. If they don't want to play, they don't want to. It's like the NBA. Like, are we specifically talking about the NFL or just?
Yeah, just NFL.
Just NFL.
Oh, okay.
Like, and also, Jay, on top of that, do you think there will be a season this year? Like, do you think they're actually going to go through with it, or do you think they're going to just?
Yeah, they'll go through with it for sure.
You think so?
They'll start the season. I don't think it's going to go all the way through. I mean, they still have TV deals to follow through with, right? So it's not like they're just going to say, no season. There's obviously going to be no fans, so it's going to be like, it's not entertaining to watch. Even the NBA, it's the same thing. Like, no fans. I'm not really like, nothing catches my eye right now. Like, the whole bubble scenario, it just doesn't.
No.
If there's no fans in the NFL stands, I mean, how are you going to watch the Cheeseheads in Green Bay on Sundays, you know? Or the rowdy, even the new Vegas team. You can't even, see what their fans are going to be like. It's just not. I'm going to say the season's going to start. It's going to happen, but will I watch? No, I'm like 50-50. We'll see. So I'm like zoned in and out.
You're both.
I'm both, yeah.
All right. Well, you actually brought up the bubble. So let's just go about some zoned in, zoned out with the bubble. In regards to the bubble, who do you got to make? What's your predictions?
I actually want Portland.
Go by conference. Nelly?
I want Portland, man. I don't know. Like, I'm on a Dame high. But you know what? I like literally, it's so close with the West. It's insane to me. There's like 4 teams now, or 3 teams left that can make it. It's like every game counts, and I think some teams are resting. Like, I saw like some teams are also doing load management still in the bubble. Like, it's so weird. Like, so that load management can actually help some teams make it to the playoffs as well. But yeah, like all I'm hoping for is, like, I want to see Dame play the Clippers. That's all I want to see in the bubble. That's all I want to see. That's all I want to see.
You zoned in. What team are you zoned in on in the West?
In the West, I'm with Nelly. I want Portland. Portland, like, Dame looks like he's ready to take his shot at the throne right now. Like, he looks like he's poised to prove a point. You know what I mean? He's one of the guys that, wants to play for one team no matter what. He wants to grind. He's one of those old school pick up my lunch pail, go to work, and we're gonna grind to the win. So I'm like, I like what I've been seeing of him lately, and like I said, it's like now's the perfect time for him to make his run, because next season when Golden State comes back, your chances might be gone again. So
yes.
you know what I mean. So
Yes.
you got to strike while the iron's hot. So I'm zoned in on Portland.
Jay, in the West, what team you zoned in on?
I want Portland, but I think the Clippers.
Oh.
Yeah, I think defensively.
So sorry, so Jay, it's not winning, but I mean like the West, like for like the like getting into the playoffs. So it's like Blazers, Grizzlies, Suns.
Oh yeah, I want the
Spurs. They're all kind of like I think a game apart now.
They're all tied, I think.
Yeah. So Trail has Trail, Grizzlies, Suns. Those three teams and Spurs.
Well, I thought you meant coming out of the West as in winning the West. That's what I thought you were
saying.
That's cool.
Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, Portland for sure. Like I want to see them get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm the same. With that, I'm zoned in on Portland for that last spot. Phoenix is really surprising, but I don't want them to get the last spot because there's going to be a sweep job in the first round.
For sure they're going to get swept.
But it's a nice story.
Yes.
And it looks really good on Booker's resume. So I'm all in with that. So come actually in the West, sticking in with the West. Who do you have winning the West then? NellyJ, who you got first? Who you got winning the West?
So the West, I gotta go with what Jay said, Clippers. I think they're the most complete team in terms of they have players in every position. They're 6-man, like they're a complete team. They have offense, defense. Kawhi has proven himself on 2 teams, like MVP finalists. Like we can't deny that resume. His resume is too superb, and we saw how he influenced and helped the Raptors win their first ring. This guy, I can tell he's chilling. Kawhi right now, I know how he is. This guy's chilling. He's not even at 100 yet. He's playing at like 80% right now, and he's still playing really well. And I know when it's a do or die thing with PG and Bev and like that squad, I know like it'll be turned up a whole notch. And I even though like I would love to see LeBron win a ring for Kobe, and that would be a good story as well. And of course the NBA is pushing that story. Clearly the NBA wants LeBron to win. I just think that Kawhi will stop him. He's the only player I think in the West that can actually stop that Lakers team and win in a playoff series. So I think the Clippers will definitely take the West.
Milan, how about you?
My mind says the Clippers. My mind is telling me the Clippers, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they. I also wouldn't be shocked if they lost in the playoffs. I don't know who. I could see if they somehow got up against Portland. Portland going in and just beating the brakes off them.
Right.
Yo, that would be something.
That would be hilarious.
That would be like a Cinderella story. That would be like.
That would be hilarious. But if I have to choose a team, I'm going with the Clippers.
All right, Jay.
Yeah, Clippers. They're just too good defensively, and there's too many options. Lou Williams off the bench dropping 20 a game.
Right.
I mean, that's just stupid.
Yeah, I think Lou is the X factor for me. If they didn't have Lou Williams, I wouldn't have picked them. He's the reason why I would say he's more of a threat. Because who has a Lou Williams on their team? I think Raptors have a little bit, but Lou is like, he's a beast.
Lou's the truth, man.
All right, so it looks like the whole floor, because I'm with everyone else. I think the Clippers. I say that grudgingly because I'm not really rooting for the Clippers.
Who are you rooting for?
I don't know if anybody's ever been for Clippers.
Yeah.
I know, like we're not fans of Clippers, but we're fans, I think, of who they have.
Yeah, but with Kawhi being there, that's supposed to. I would have figured in hindsight when I first heard he got traded, being a Toronto fan, I was happy to see him in a good situation. But now I find as the season's kind of progressing, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just I want to say Toronto hate, but I'm seeing Kawhi now and the Clippers, and when I watch their games, I don't find myself rooting for them. I'm surprised that no one's talking about Houston. Not saying we should, but remember,
sound like you're mad that Kawhi left.
Sorry?
I said you sound like you're mad that Kawhi left.
Starting to creep up in your heart.
Yeah,
You're feeling it. It's like indigestion. You're like, ugh, can't stand this dude.
I'm not gonna listen. When Kawhi left, it was a sad moment. I'm not gonna lie. Like I think all of Toronto was sad. Like we were hoping. I think we all thought he was gonna sign, and then I think Mr. Business Deals in the West there.
But I do think that Portland, of any team to upset, it's funny. We just like maybe 2 months ago, we would all be talking about the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know it's the regular season. They probably shut it down. But in the playoffs, there's something about the Lakers that I'm just not sold. I'm kind of zoned out with Anthony Davis.
Yeah. They have to figure out their lineup. Like, that their lineups don't look like they can match up against anyone. They always look like they're lackluster. Not dominant at all, and that's what you kind of want to see going into the playoffs. Even if you got number 1 seed locked up, you kind of want they won games, but they never dominated anybody, which is a shock.
Because the coaching is trash. I'm sorry, the coaching isn't good. Like the Lakers coaching is not good. That coach has good players, and he's just trying to like in a video game, it's like a cheat code. He's like in a cheat code right now. Like he's not really coaching. He's like, hey guys, I have a great roster of great talent, and I'm going to just try different lineups because we can, because you're all talented. Like, he's not really – I'm not sold on the coaching. And I think in the playoffs, that's why Nick Nurse is so good for the Raptors, because in playoffs, your coach has to help you win that ring. Good talent isn't good enough sometimes. Like, you need a good coach. And even Golden State Warriors, they had a good coach. Like, Kerr was good. So I'm not sold on their coaching staff at all. I'm not sold on the back. Like, I'm not sold on it. That's why, to me, the Lakers are iffy. Now, question for y'all: do you think the Rockets can beat the Lakers in the playoff game?
I mean, it's like I said before. This is anyone's championship. Like, I don't have any faith in Russell Westbrook, so I mean, I'm kind of biased there. But I like what I'm seeing from Harden. I like Harden. Like, I actually hope that he could do it. But Houston's another team where it's like, as much as you might like them, you just can't trust them because something always happens. Something always happens. So
it's fundamentally trust issues, because that's how I feel with Anthony Davis, which is, I think, the reason why I'm not quite seeing them as doing it. Anthony Davis, he's kind of like KD. Remember KD? He never really had his team. So Anthony Davis had his team in New Orleans, and they made the playoffs, I think, once, and they got out the first round once, or they might have made it twice. But I guess my point is, in the playoffs, to me, he's still kind of unproven. Even when they got to the second round, I still didn't see like this domination of a player, right? And I think for him and LeBron to be effective, he has to be equally as dominant. And I'm not seeing the domination yet. So since he's like, there's a question mark, I haven't seen it yet in the playoffs. And what I'm seeing in the bubble, I'm seeing him being like a really good player, but it's not that like killer instinct, take over the game whenever. And he has the ability, but him not being able to do it, me see it, there's a question mark, and I think he's a factor for me.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay? How you feel?
Well, the Rockets?
Yeah, the Rockets and beating the Lakers.
No. I was zoned out on the Rockets the minute they traded Capella to my Hawks.
Really? Why?
Well, because their center's 6'6". I mean, come on. They're going to get bullied down low by the Clippers or by anybody. They got to hope that they score 150 a night, and they only hold the other team to 149. It's the only way they're going to win. I mean, they had Covington playing center the one day. I was like, what's going on here? This guy's a shooting guard at best. So it's just not going to work. Unless
because like Westbrook and Harden, I think they said they're the highest scoring duo ever in the NBA. In the bubble right now, like their stat lines are always going to be great. Westbrook and Harden will always have good stat lines, but that's
they're probably the duo that's been the highest scored against as well.
Exactly, and probably the most attempts, because we've all seen Harden attempts. Like he has the most attempts in any game, and so does Westbrook. So I feel like it's hard to, like, honestly, there's quite a few Rocket fans right now that think they're going to take it. And I just don't see it. I feel like they're a good stat team. They'll get good numbers, like, after the game, but it'll be like a loss. Like, I think I saw a Bleacher Report, oh, Harden scored all these points, and we're like, yeah, but they lost. Like, who cares? He could score 45 all he wants, but they're still losing. At least Dame is scoring and winning games for his team. These guys are scoring the most points and still losing. It's weird. Like, that culture, that entire team culture is so weird to me. Like, if I was Harden and I scored 1,000 points and my team lost, I'd be pissed. Like, like, who cares about your stat line if your team is losing? Like, I think Harden has to sit down, and Westbrook, and figure out, you know what? Do I want to have the best titles, like scoring titles and stat lines, or do I want to win a championship? And I think once they switch that mentality, like Carmelo, like other players in the past, then they'll understand, you know what? I want to win. So let's figure out how to win as a team and destroy teams. Because having a good like stat line isn't gonna get it.
True.
It's weird to me.
All right, well, now, NellyJ, what you got for the culture?
Oh yeah, guys. So okay, so that's for the culture. Sorry, one thing to add for the bubble I want to add was just the fact that some players were saying that they felt that it's too much basketball in the bubble. So like, you know, like right now, right? Like some players are able to, like, you know, back in pre-COVID days, you know, guys can play their game, go to the club after, do their stuff, you know, go out, see some strippers, you know, do what they want to do to kind of expel that stress. Because
get some lemon pepper wings.
Yeah, because, you know, especially in playoffs, like, I have friends who coach in NBA and they say, like, literally in playoffs is the most stressful time because it's anxiety, a lot of anxiety before the game, a lot of pressure to perform. So a lot of players, that's why a lot of players have mental issues because of that anxiety and that, like, pressure to win. So being able to be home with your family, being able to go out with your boys, you're able to at least, you know, deal with that stress level in a healthy way. But in the bubble, you can't go nowhere, right? So I'm curious to you guys think about, like, do you think the bubble is going to actually ruin teams' chances because they won't be able to actually mentally, like, deal with the stress and deal with the anxiety and the pressure to win in the bubble, like or the break of basketball in the bubble?
I don't. It could, but I don't think it will because they're not really in the bubble for that long. You know what I mean? It's kind of different in playoffs and the grind of an 82 game season. Like, they had a huge break and they're only playing like what, 14 games before playoffs or something like that. Not a huge amount of games.
14, 16, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and a lot of teams aren't going to be there for long. So I can understand where it like I said before, it's uncharted territory. So it's hard for them to really deal with this new world that they're embarking on. But I don't think it will have a huge effect. It might affect some, but I don't think it's going to be that noticeable. I'd be shocked if it was that noticeable.
Okay.
Jay?
If I'm TJ Warren, I want to permanently be in the bubble.
He's going
First
off.
thing. You just just stay there. Don't even bother. He's just snapping every game. Are they getting bored? Yeah,
Not
probably.
bored, like, you know, too much basketball. Is it too much basketball?
That's what I mean. Bored up. Yeah, like they're like no. It's like a big AAU tournament. That's really all it is. It's like the biggest tournament you could possibly play in. The one thing I don't think is I think I heard some news story where somebody in the Players Association said that next season might have to be played in the bubble. I don't think that's going to be good, and I don't think it's going to work.
Right.
I think there's going to be a lot of call-ups and guys that just say, no, I don't want to play this year.
Right.
Really? Yeah. You think so? But remember that paycheck is good, though. That paycheck is good.
But I'm saying the older guys, like the Carmelos, the players who have families, are not going to want to stay in a bubble for 6 months.
Of course.
The young players like the Doncic's, the Trae Youngs, they'll probably be like, yeah, I'll play. Why not?
Guys, I'm sorry. Money talks. I think they're all going to be singing in the bubble. What? You think these players are actually going to, like, not want to get paid millions of dollars for 6 months of work?
They're going to – if you're going to be exiting the bubble and coming back, the rosters are going to be – you have to expand the rosters to, like, 20 players. This is just not going to work.
I agree with that. Yeah,
they have to be a
bigger roster for sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Quarantine when they come back, it's just too much. It's just
yeah. How about you, Faheem? Like the whole bubble culture, do you think it will actually be detrimental to some teams that the players can't kind of like, go, come back, have their boy time, have their family time. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
So I think basketball players, they're employees, right? Just because someone's an NBA player doesn't mean that they love the game. Like they love this, like they get paid to do this. But there's a percentage of players that really play basketball because they've been tall the majority of their life, and they were good at it. Just because you're good at something doesn't really mean you love it, right? So
talk the things, boy.
Right?
So I'm saying talk the things. You're preaching right now. The whole message.
So yeah, when it comes down to if they're not really loving the game, and you're in a situation where you can't find an outlet, and you're in a situation where you're getting paid, but you don't have the passion as others, of course it's going to be coming back to what Jay said. Like, yeah, like you're going to have maybe younger players who maybe love the game. It's not going to be a big deal, but there are players, have to be, even players like great players we know, it maybe do it because they're good at it, but the passion's not there. It's going to be hard for them to stay mentally sharp. So that's why I don't think that playing in the bubble next year is even an option like that. You're going to have people going through burnout. You know what I mean? But like,
it's too much work. So question for you guys. Y'all remember Dennis Rodman? I want to bring up Dennis Rodman. This is my play here. Dennis Rodman, one of the best, to me, defensive players, rebounding like no other, right? He had to leave Chicago and leave playoff games to go to Vegas, right? To expel stress. Many times he said, "Yo, Jordan, Phil, I gotta go. I gotta leave. So there are players like Dennis who are in the bubble that
Lou Williams.
Yo,
gotta get them lemon peppers, boy.
But I'm saying though, right? I think probably maybe 20% of players that are on good teams that actually are role players that actually need to leave basketball for like even a couple hours and come back. I think because for example, I believe if the Bulls were playing in a bubble today, it would be bad because Michael would be fine, Michael Jordan, Pippen fine, but Rodman would be like, guys, I can't play. Rodman couldn't even think in the bubble. He would go crazy. Right. So I guess for me, there are players that are like Rodman that need those strippers, like Stephen A. said, they need them strippers that need to go out, that need to just like drink, go have their bottle service. I think CJ orders like bottles of wine all the time in his room. Like he's a wine guy apparently. So there are players that are drinking a lot in the bubble, but it's like after a while, drinking gets boring. Gets boring. And I think, guys, I think there will be an undercover railroad in the bubble. What I mean by that, we'll talk. I think there'll be an undercover railroad. So I'm telling you, if I'm LeBron, if I'm these players, I'm plotting with the Disney people. I'm going to pay off, hey guys, listen, give us a back door. There has to be a secret tunnel in that place. There's no way, okay? Because there has to be. So if I'm LeBron, I'm building a tunnel, and we're going to the club and come back in the tunnel. Like, there has to be a way.
Yeah, pay the security guard a couple bands and you're good.
Listen to millionaires. Yo, I'm paying guards, and I'm going to find a way. Trust me, I'm telling you, they're plotting a way to find an undercover railroad in the bubble. They have to. They have to.
I'd agree. You have to.
Harriet Tubman.
One time.
No, they have to, man. Because I'm telling you, imagine a Rodman in the bubble. Crazy. He's performing well in the playoffs. He's done.
You probably would have opted out though.
And I think we're gonna see some players crack in the playoffs. I guarantee that because of the bubble, they're gonna crack with the pressure, the anxiety, having to win, and nowhere to go because everyone's like hotel room and this. They're gonna crack. I'm telling you.
I'm shocked. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't hear about fist fights during the playoffs.
Okay.
Didn't Lowry give somebody his room number the other day?
Exactly.
Yes.
So things are gonna get popping.
So Aaron Gordon, fouled him hard, and then
that wasn't a hard foul. I don't really side with the Raptors really that much. You know that wasn't a hard foul.
So I agree with you. It wasn't a hard foul, but it was. Say hard is not the right word. Dangerous. I'll go with dangerous.
Okay.
If you watch how
dangerous in today's game. Okay, I'll give you that.
Just how he landed on the one leg twisted. Things like that could be serious, right? But yeah, coming back to it, he said something to Lowry, and Lowry's like gave him his room number. And that's another element. Like, think about it. These guys are in the same hotel. So do they have security there? That I don't know.
No, they do have security.
I'm telling you guys, it's going to be an eruption. I predict at least one brawl in the playoffs, one brawl minimum. Definitely Clippers, because Pat Bev is like, certain teams have these hotheads. Definitely a brawl in the bubble. I feel like, guys, I think testosterone, too much testosterone after a while is not good for anybody.
Especially if it's all together and you have nowhere else to go.
Right.
Yep.
You have no release. Like, you're gonna start a guy just brushes you and it's just like, yo, like why are you on me right now, fam? And they start going crazy.
I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a thing. It's gonna be a thing. Yeah. All right, y'all. So you just zoned in part 1.
Yes, thanks for listening. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to video.
We out.
You know.